I started reading in 2022 when booktok was booming. Haley fam grabbed me by your claws, and that's when my reading journey started. There are a couple booktok books that I just haven't read. They're super popular, and I wanted to put them to the test to see if booktok recommended good books back then in the early booktok days. So in this week's video, we read 3 popular OG booktok books. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. We're gonna be reading 3 OG booktok books. There are a couple OG booktok books that I haven't read yet, and so I wanted to see if they stand. If booktok was giving actual good recommendations, because sometimes they're not giving good recommendations now. So I want to know if these OG booktok books were any good. We're reading 3 in this reading vlog. I have 3 different genres that we're reading. I don't know if it's always gonna apply to this, but the first book that we're reading is a fantasy. We're reading These Violent Delights by Gong. I've seen this book everywhere. I've never read it yet. All I know it's like a Romeo and Juliet type of fantasy retelling in Shanghai, China. I think it's in the 1800s. Don't know. I'm not like the biggest fan of Romeo and Juliet retellings, but like I feel like it could be fun once in a while. I haven't read one in a long time. I think the last one I read was Olivia Blake's One for My Enemy, and I liked One for My Enemy just fine. I'm excited. I don't know anything like the premise of this, like what makes the book fantasy. All I know it's Romeo and Juliet, Shanghai, China, not modern day. So that's all I'm going into this, and I'm gonna go into these books blind. Next, we're gonna be reading a romance. This is OG romance that I haven't read yet. It's The Deal by Elle Kennedy. This one's a hockey romance. That's all I know. There's a college. I don't know if all like the guys within the series are hockey players or they're different sports in this college. Don't know. I'm not gonna look it up. I saw this one guy on my For You page recently that was like a hockey player, and he was like interacting with kids, and I was like, oh my god, I have to read a hockey romance. So here we are. Gonna read The Deal by Elle Kennedy. The last one is a fiction or like literary fiction book. This one I know what happens. I want to read the book. I want to get absorbed in the books because people either love this book, love the author, or hate the book and hate the author too. We're reading Normal People by Sally Rooney. I know Sally Rooney does not use quotation marks. Don't know if that's gonna grind my gears. The thought of it grinds my gears, but I don't know, if like I just read it and it's just flowing well, then I guess I probably might not care that much. I'm ready for this to like rip my soul out, and I hope it does. Just read Magnolia Parts 3. And now we're gonna get into this. I don't think I'm gonna read this one first. I think I'm gonna start with These Violent Delights by Gong. I'm just in the mood for fantasy. I haven't read a fantasy in a long time. And yeah, we're gonna read those 3 books this week and see if OG booktok books are worth the hype. Are they worth the hype? Don't know. Are they good recommendations? Don't know. Hi guys, oh my god, it's 5. Guys, I have to tell you this. First, we're gonna do updates on this video because this is the reason you're here. 75 pages into These Violent Delights. I'm about to start reading again right now, but I just had to update you because Barnes & Noble Americana in Glendale, California is where Jessica Hastings just did a book signing for Into the Dark, right? Apparently she had she signed extra copies, and so this Barnes & Noble had extra copies, so they went on their Instagram and were like, DM us your information and we'll see if we can like send them out. I was like, I sent them my information this morning. They messaged me back and they were like, oh, we're all sold out, sorry. And I was like, okay, whatever. And then I got a call from the Barnes & Noble, and they were like, someone just backed out. You're next on the list. Do you want the signed copy of Magnolia Parks Into the Dark? Said yes, got it all set over. It's gonna ship out. I'm so excited. I was like shaking. I was like, oh my god, what is that? So there's the update. I have to do work. That is something I physically have to do. But back to These Violent Delights, I'm really enjoying it. I actually found out what the plot is. So right now we follow Juliet, very on the nose. We follow Juliet and Roma, and apparently they had like this kind of like a thing in the past. I don't know anything about it because I'm only 75 pages in, but we're hinted at like they have a history. This is set in the 1920s. Juliet, she was sent over to New York in America, as like protection against something, and her and Roma are in 2 rival gangs that can like contribute all of Shanghai, China. You're either on the Scarlet side, which is Juliet's gang, or you're on the White Flower side, which is Roma's gang. We also have like a couple side characters I actually really do like. I like the side characters that follow Roma. So his friends, I'm really enjoying them. I don't really know too much about Juliet's side characters, like her friends and stuff like that, because honestly I feel like I don't know too much about Juliet. She's very cryptic right now. I feel like Roma's more like speaking out his mind in his POV. So Roma has found out some information regarding both of their gangs and like just like something happened and he's like talking to the Scarlets. He's like, guys, this is insane. Like, I don't know what it is. Do you guys know what it is? And then now everyone's like trying to get at this information, and that's where the fantasy aspect is coming in. So I'm actually really enjoying it. I think it's really fun. The art, you're joking. You're joking. Hi guys, I'm literally in the same spot. I'm about to start reading a little bit. Right now I'm on page 269. So a little over halfway. I don't know what to say so far. I think the pacing was really fast in the beginning, and then towards like the 20% mark to like probably 50-ish, maybe 45% mark, it was just so slow. While I say like these, like I like the side characters, I don't really need to know about them that much in the detail that we're going into, but like we get a little bit more about the side characters, and it's like fine sometimes, but then like I really just want to get into like what's plaguing the city and like what the actual like illness and monster is. We have like the sprinkles of that, but like it's definitely gonna get overworked, and like it's gonna be in a bigger picture. It's not like just what we know right now, because if it is just what we know right now, you'll never hear the end of it at the end of the book for me. We are also learning more about Roma and Juliet. I'm really enjoying Roma, and like I'm starting to grow on Juliet. Like she's just very like, it honestly doesn't seem that she cares too much, but like there's moments and glimpses that she like, you see that she does really care about like the people around her. Probably 45, 40, like almost around the 50% mark is where like something like big happened that like pushed everyone to want to figure this out even more. Like it made the stakes higher, especially for one character. And so like I liked that part of the book. Like I feel like that's the only thing moving it along so far, because like while everyone knows it's a threat, why are they not threatened about it? Like I just don't get it. It's like okay so far. I think it's probably around a 3.5, 4 right now. Hi guys, update. Yesterday morning I finished These Violent Delights. I think I had like 100 pages left, maybe less than 100 pages, and I knocked it out before I went to class. I've sat on it, I have my rating, and I think I'm gonna save it to the end. Okay, basically all that I really didn't really like about the story is I feel like we were set up to know this information very quickly, but then the characters also don't know the information, and so you're like rocking with the punches, like oh my god, we like basically know this information, like it's set up like that. Halfway through, 60% through, the characters finally figure out like what's actually going down, and then it's just like info dumping at that point. I feel like it was already established that it was already known. This madness that's like plaguing Shanghai, like people are dying because of it, and so we like kind of know what's causing the madness. Like we don't know like specifically, but like once like the characters like put 2 and 2 together, I feel like that's when we already knew, and I was just like, it's redundant at that point. I feel like Juliet's character also like switched up halfway. She was like seen as such like a badass, and like oh my gosh, she doesn't care about anybody, like she's like cutthroat, like she's like insane, like she's like really cool. Like, literally at the end it was like a flip switch, and then we're seeing like oh my god, Juliet has like a different side of her. But like I feel like up until that point we were just shown like she really just doesn't care. Like she cares for her like gang, and she cares for her family and her friends, but virtually that's it. Like she does not care about anybody else, and I felt like that was just like okay. I really liked Roma in this. I really did like the past aspect of like them, Roma and Juliet, having like a history. I talked about how I did like the side characters. I like the side characters pretty much like the whole time, and I like them as like people. I did not like following along these side characters. Like they find out morsels of information, but I feel like if we just followed around Roma and Juliet and like a sprinkle, like a smidge here and there of like a side character, it would feel like a lot more like cohesive. And I feel like if those side characters just came to like one of the main characters that we were following and just relayed the information, I feel like I would have been fine with it. I didn't need all the flowery like, oh my god, we're walking and then we see something and like it's just like I have to tell Juliet, like, you know what I mean? I think I am gonna continue on with the series. Honestly, nothing really got resolved, so I think I might pick up the next one. Don't know how long, don't know if I ever get to it. And then yesterday I also started The Deal by Elle Kennedy. I actually finished that last night, so I was like determined to finish it. I was just like, I feel like I have to finish this, and I was like so easy to digest. Okay. Oh my god, The Deal. What do I have to say about The Deal? Okay, I get why it's popular. I didn't like it. There was like, for something published in 2015, there was a lot of misogynistic like tendencies like sprinkled out within the book, and then they like joked it off and played it off like, oh, that's not what I really meant. And I was just like, or like joked it off like, do you really think I would say that? Like, I don't want that. Like, just take it out. Like, if you wanted to show this guy being such a stand-up guy, if you wanted to show Garrett being like such a good guy, take out those lines of him being just like annoying just to get a rise out of Hannah and be like, yeah, that's not what I actually meant. You actually think I would say that? And like kind of be a little butthurt, and like it's just like, what did that do? Nothing. It did nothing. I should tell you what it's about. This is a hockey romance, very loose on the hockey. The guy's just a hockey player. I don't think like it was like that twined within the plot that much. Like, Hannah is a Briar University student and she's in this ethics class, and then like the midterm comes out and then like a bunch of people in the class fail the test. Hannah, surprise surprise, got an A. And so then Garrett, the hockey player, was like, he was like, oh my god, I can't play because blah 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 blah. I have a C- average, like, and it was like, I need to get this grade up because there was like a makeup test coming back up. And then he sees that Hannah got an A, and then he's like pursuing her. He's like, you need to tutor me, you need to tutor me, you need to tutor me. And then Hannah's like, no, I don't wanna. And he like full on stalks her. Then she miraculously agrees to be his tutor, become friends, and then it's lovers. Then it's lovers. What about the book? Oh, I was this close to DNFing the book. I don't know why no one else talks about this, and I feel like it should be talked about more because of the community that we're in. Why is Garrett, like, people love Garrett. Why is he a One Direction hater? Like, he hates One Direction. Like, what is this? Like, why are you hating on One Direction? It was said multiple times, like, about, like, talking about One Direction, and it's just like, what did they do? What did they do? Maybe it was because it was in 2015, and that's when One Direction broke up. Was it cool to hate One Direction back then? Garrett, the guy, was hating on One Direction. Like, what do you, like, please step back, sir. That happened like the first like 10 pages, and I was like, this is the tone for the book, hating One Direction. So I was very like, ooh, should I read this? That was like a whole thing. It said a bunch of stuff that I didn't really like about it. I do think that, like, character-wise, the way they connected and like actually showed them like being vulnerable with each other, I did really like. I think it was very well done. I think it was very like, it really showed them like changing as characters, so I really liked that. Okay, spice rating, I think probably like actual spice, it's probably like a 2.5, but I'm bumping it up to like 3.5 because in the spice rater, because it's talked about a lot. It's very like, I think from like page like 12 or like 20, it's talked about, and it's very prevalent. It's very like gross teenage boy mind, and by teenage boy I mean like, he's not a teenager, he's 20. Gross boy mind. So if you don't want that, don't read it. But it's very easy, it's very quick. It's like 300 pages. Finished it last night, and now it's time for me to read Normal People by Sally Rooney, and then I'm gonna give you all the ratings at the end. I think I can knock this one out really quickly too. I think it's less than 300 pages, so it's like 270. I'm hoping I really enjoy this because I liked the TV show, and I just like being hurt. So, oh, you guys, look at my little stickers on my Kindle. I got this one for my roommate, this one from my roommate, and this one from my roommate. This one is Shake It Off, Snoopy version. This is from Lovely Disco. You go on Instagram, and then she has a website where she does like t-shirts and stuff like that. And then this one is another Snoopy Taylor Swift one. They're so cute. What? I literally thought I had like 10 more pages. I was under the impression that this ended at like 87. It ends at 73. Oh my god, how did they end this in the show? I forgot. I totally forgot this happened. I'm gonna sit on a rating. I don't know. I truly have no clue what I'm gonna rate it. But we finished it. Hi guys. I've finished Normal People. I finished it yesterday. You saw me finish. You saw me finish it. I've sat on a rating and I think I've decided on ratings on all 3 of the books that I've read. This is low-key kind of redundant because the last video I uploaded was my wrap-up and then it's this one, but it's whatever. If you're a constant viewer, then you've already seen my thoughts on it. But yeah, first reread These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. I'm giving this a 3 stars. It wasn't as fantastical as I was expecting to get into it. It's just like gangs in Shanghai, China, and they're just trying to figure out this like mystery, and like they're just like following this case and like what is causing like the root of the madness. And like the romance was okay. I don't think I'm connected to the characters whatsoever. I found out like the spin-off in the same universe, like Foul Lady Fortune, is about a character in this book that we've already met, but I don't want to read her book. You know what I mean? Like I just saw who it was about and then I was like, I don't want to read that. But maybe I will finish this duology. I think it's just one more book and I do want to figure out the answers. The plot was engaging enough to keep going, and I did read this pretty fast, especially right after Magnolia Park's Into the Dark. I was kind of like slumpy and I just didn't want to read. Juliet was a character. Her character development and like seeing other sides of her, it felt inauthentic because we're given how Juliet is. She's like pretty independent, and then in the end it like switches and like you can't really see the switch coming, and so it was just like kind of like, oh, I don't really think that's like actually her. The romance was mid. It was mid. There was a connection between Roma and Juliet, but like it was just like pretty surface. It wasn't surface level and like attraction based, but it was like surface level and like you don't really explore it much in this book. 3 stars. It was mid. It was good. I'd recommend it. But I'm not like obsessed. Next I read The Deal by Elle Kennedy. I think I like hockey romance the best out of all sports romances. I don't know why. Like hockey, just like it's just like engaging to me. This one didn't have a lot of hockey talk at all. It was mostly like the college setting. I just didn't care about the couple too much. I think there was like some cute moments. I don't think I liked Garrett whatsoever. I did not like Garrett, and it was purely based on his One Direction slander and hatred. Like I saw a TikTok about like an edit to Garrett, and it was like One Direction like lover, and I was like, oh, like One Direction stan, and I was like, did we read the same book? He kept on saying, I hate One Direction, like One Direction's not good, blah blah blah. Yeah, Hannah had to be like, oh, One Direction's pretty good, and then like he like grew to tolerate it, but like he doesn't love it. Another red flag was like the misogyny in this book, and then it's like misogyny disguised as like, oh, you really thought I was gonna do that, blah blah blah, and I was like, huh? Like it was just like out of pocket things for this to be published in 2015. And then another thing, the Breaking Bad content, like I thought this is a red flag to everybody. They were watching Breaking Bad together. Like he was basically like he didn't make her watch Breaking Bad, but he was like they were watching Breaking Bad, and like that's just a recipe for disaster from what I've seen on TikTok. Into the plot, Garrett was a little creep. He was like, oh, I want her to tutor me so badly. Like just study, boy. Like just study, please just study. And honestly, from their tutoring sessions, didn't act like she was helping him that much. She was just like basically going over these like theories of these like philosophers, and that's it. Like that's all we're really seeing about the studying and like tutoring, but whatever. Like some moments were good, so I kind of have to give it like that. Like the connection between Garrett and Hannah towards the end was true, and I really like did feel it. So yeah, 2.5 stars. 2.5 stars for The Deal by Elle Kennedy. Lastly, I read Normal People by Sally Rooney. Watched the TV show. There was like some parts I like retained in the TV show. The ending, had no clue. I got like punched in the face when I read that. Like I was expecting like 10 more pages, and then I flipped the page, acknowledgements. I've set it on a rating. It's gonna be a 4.5. I really enjoyed it. I loved it. I love reading about like characters, and Connell and Marianne, it's so good. This is about Connell and Marianne, and then it just follows their life from like high school, I don't know what it's like, grade school, all up to like university. And so there's different time skips where like like there's like flashbacks, so like we're in a time and then they flash back to what happened. It's just a push and pull between Connell and Marianne, and it's so beautiful and I love it so much. And I think this one's worth the hype. This one's so good. The quotes and like the anxiety representation of Connell, phenomenal, so good. And like just the mental health like representation in this book, it is a little hard to get into because Sally Rooney does not use quotation marks. So it's a bunch of he said, she says, they said, this happened, blah, 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 Marianne said, blah, 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 blah. And so like sometimes it's a little hard to like keep track of who's talking, but it's fine. You'll get over it. I think the content in the book besides that are so good. It's very short. It's like less than 300 pages. Very good. So the age-old question, did TikTok give good recommendations? I honestly think BookTok and TikTok in general, like giving recommendations, reading's subjective, so it depends on the person. Like someone could have hated Normal People and someone could have loved These Violent Delights, and a lot of people love The Deal. I do think we're giving better recommendations now than these, but I think that's just like with time, like coming on, like new releases and stuff like that. So I do really like scrolling through TikTok, getting new recommendations, and it's just fun. It like opens a new like window for people to enjoy reading more, because honestly, without BookTok and Haley Pham in general, I don't think I would be a reader. I don't think I would be obsessed with these booktubers that I'm obsessed with, and I just don't I don't know how my life would turn out. Like imagine if I did not read the Magnolia Park series. Like how would my life be? I liked my time and experience reading OG TikTok books. I have a couple more lined up for like a part 2 of this video. Overall, they're all right. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys in my next video. Comment, like, subscribe. I love you all. And comment if you've read any of these books. I know that these are pretty popular, so comment down below if you've read these books. Same with The Deal, I just don't have it and I don't want it. Some other OG TikTok books that you think I haven't read or anything like that, or like some of your favorite OG TikTok books, because I am doing a part 2, I told you. So thank you guys, I love you guys, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!